look what's
Hey.
going on.
All right, so I'm here with Kylee and Stephen in their new home. They're all moved in. They're going to give us a little bit of behind the scenes on what that process was like. When did you start, to give everybody a timeline, when did you start thinking of buying a home and how long before it actually happened?
We had been living with roommates for a while, and so we knew that eventually we wanted to get our own place, and we were trying to decide if we wanted to rent again or buy something. So last February, I reached out to Shane because we had kind of dabbled with the idea of wanting to buy something. We didn't really know what the process would look like or anything. February, we kind of just got started like looking at different areas and everything, but by November, we were kind of ready to buy something, and so that's when we really like kicked it up to the next gear.
Yeah, we closed on January 20th, so it's been almost exactly a month since we moved in.
So almost a full year since they first began thinking about the process and where to begin. What were some of the things that you were kind of looking for in your home as far as location, square footage? What was important in your search?
Yeah, for us it was like mostly location and walkability. We both like to run, and we wanted somewhere we'd be comfortable going outside and going for runs and enjoying Los Angeles. And square footage wise, we didn't have any like very intense limitations, which allowed us to kind of stay closer to the beach and be where we can enjoy the outside.
We wanted something that was like fairly updated. Being able to find something that was updated, affordable, and close to the beach was kind of tricky, but at the same time, we had narrow options. I think at first when we kind of expanded the whole map of the South Bay, it was like a little overwhelming. But when we finally narrowed that down, we knew exactly what we were looking for, and like when we found this place, we knew this was it.
When you first started looking, were you just looking at a map? Were you driving around and visiting areas? What was that process like?
Yeah, it was pretty wide open for us. We were like very new to the process and didn't really know exactly where we wanted to end up. So we started off really wide, and Shane would find a place and be like, let's go check that out. And that's kind of how we went through different neighborhoods. And after we visit a place, we'd drive around the neighborhood, which is what we did here. And this is one of the ones that like really got us very excited about living in this area in Venice.
Since location was like our biggest thing too, we really wanted to be close to walking to restaurants and to the beach, and like Stephen said, going on runs. We would see things online that we thought were beautiful and looked great, but then when we actually drove around the neighborhood, we're like, well, I don't know if we really want to live here. It really helped to drive around different neighborhoods and see the area and like picture ourselves living there day to day.
What would you say was kind of the scariest part of trying to buy a home?
Yeah, for me, it was definitely the loan process. It was very challenging, and we had a different, unique situation. We were kind of limited on the number of lenders we could use, and going through that whole process and the paperwork and getting everything approved was definitely the most challenging and unnerving part.
That's the most important piece, especially once you've opened escrow, is staying in contact with your lender and speaking with them all the time and making sure there's no missing pieces, because they have a lot of other clients that they're working with. It's really important that you contact them and get that done. What would you say was kind of the best part of searching for homes?
I think just when we saw this place, we both knew that this was it. And like every other place, especially me, like I was like, yeah, we can make this work. But it was nice, like both of us falling in love with the same place and like not having any reservations, and like every day, like we're like, wow, I can't believe this is ours. Like it's just really nice to feel like you found the one. I think if you're patient enough and like you know exactly what you're looking for, I think most people can find that perfect place for them too, but it definitely takes time. I think being able to see a bunch of different places to know what you do like and what you don't like is important.
Creating a list of what is important in your home search. There's so many things on the list. Figuring out what your priorities are really makes a difference on narrowing it down so that when you do find it, it's like, okay, yeah, this really checks every box of everything we look for. What kind of advice would you have for people that are just starting the home buying process?
I mean, there's a lot. There's definitely, I would encourage people to look around and do open houses and see places in person. And then further along in the process, when you are in closing, I would also encourage people to use the repairs part of the process to ask for whatever you think could be improved about your place. And that was something that like Shane encouraged, is like even the really minor things that you see in that process, that's like the time that you can bring them up. That was definitely something that we were glad we did. At first we were like worried about offending the seller if we said that something was like slightly crooked, but that's definitely not the case.
I think too for us, like we're first time home buyers, we're not originally from the area, and so it's nice to have a realtor that knew the area, knew us, and was like looking out for the qualities we were looking for in a house. We just had so many questions that I don't know how we would have gone through this process without a real estate agent to like go talking to the seller and talking to, I mean, in the TIC process, talking to the attorneys and everything. I feel like we got all of our questions answered, and we had a lot of questions. It was just really helpful to have someone have your back throughout that process because it's a scary investment to make.